Hey guys, what's up? I just want to say I am so glad that you guys give me this opportunity to actually make videos for you. And these people that are really good friends with me at school and church have been writing down the stories in emails and been sending them to me, and my phone has just been blowing up like crazy recently. I just want to thank all of you for doing this. And, send all these stories through emails, all the stories that are scary to you, that happened in your real life, as unrealistic as it may be. I am just so glad that you guys are doing this for me, and I'm just so glad that you like the videos that I do and want me to read your stories out loud to everyone that is willing to listen. So without further ado, here we go. Number 15. This happened a couple years ago. I was out with my friends and we were going to walk in the neighborhood. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything to do, so we just started sitting by the curb and just telling us just stories of anything. Anyways, we had some candy that we got from our house. We started eating it, and then someone just came up to us and said, "Do you have a dollar?" We all said no, and he just trotted along. He came back a couple hours later and said, "Do you have any money on you at all?" And we all said no. He politely walked away again. At this time we were pretty freaked out about what was happening, so we just ran back to my house and we told mom what happened. Unfortunately, nothing would that night happened again, and I'm just thanking God for that. Number 14. Alright, so this happened a couple days ago. Me and my friend were just watching weird videos at the house on YouTube, and all of a sudden we got this weird message or snapshot of something, and we started to look at it. When we looked at it, it said this friend note, and we didn't know who it was from, and it wasn't from a number, it was actually an email, and it had no notification on it or anything. So we started to read it, and that's what it said. Unfortunately, we didn't know anything about it, so we just left it alone and showed it to my dad, even though he was a lawyer and a police officer. And I'm not gonna less. He's part of the CIA. Anyways, we decided to just show it to my dad, and he ran it with fingerprints, even though it was an email. And he tracked down the typing address of it, even though it didn't have one. But they realized only one person has that kind of icons at the bottom of the screen. They traced it back to a guy that I can't remember his name of. Anyways, they traced it back to him, and when my dad came back, he said, "Son, how did this man know your phone number or email address?" I said, "Dad, I don't know." And he said, "Well, that guy we just shut down, apparently he was a rapist." I looked at him in disbelief, but he says he was true. And in fact, it was pretty freaking creepy. We all freaked out when we heard that. Although I never will not have a firewall anymore. Number 13. This happened when I was 13. I was in middle school, and after school I decided, hey, I'm gonna walk home. Well, I got to my locker, and I got my binder and my bag out of it, and I started to walk home. Well, there was no inside of it, and, you know, being a middle school girl, it's kind of hard to not have love notes. And there was no name on it, there was no address, there was no phone number. Anyways, I got pretty freaked out at this moment. So the next day, I asked ever gone in school if they wrote a letter in it. And some of them were even like, I don't know anyone named Samantha. So I just decided to let it go and just not worry about it. Even though it probably was just an idiocy of a 12-year-old. Anyways, the rest of middle school went pretty good. But to this day, I still don't know who or what wrote the letter. Number 12. This happened when I was 11. Usually, I always wanted to make YouTube videos, and I had a PC that had internet on it, so everyone at school told me I needed to do some PC games on the internet. I eventually said okay, and well, I asked my parents if I could get a webcam. They didn't think I needed one, but I said I really want to make YouTube videos, and I think a webcam would be awesome. They eventually said fine, and they bought me one. It had a USB plug-in port, and I mainly just plugged it in and made great videos. It took me a while to actually learn how it was, but other than that, it was pretty good. About a month after having it, uh, someone started taking pictures of me from the webcam. That night, I completely forgot it was on, and I was trying to get ready for school. Someone apparently got logged into my webcam and started taking sexual pictures of me. There was no way I was doing that. In fact, they must have used Flash or something, maybe even Photoshop. I didn't feel like doing anything else, but I soon realized when I got to school that all the teachers and boys and girls were just looking at me like I was some kind of sick freak. I didn't know what was going on, so I went to the principal's office, and he looked at his computer and looked back at me. He said, well, it seems you have some sexual things that you care to explain, maybe? I just looked at him with curiosity. What? What are you talking about? And he said, well, you know, you posted a lot of sexual things on the internet, and that's basically, that's bad. You know, we could easily arrest you for that. I looked at him in disbelief. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. And they called over the intercom my name, and they wanted to know if I knew anyone by the name Corey. I said, yeah, that's my uncle. And so I went to the front, and it wasn't my uncle, it was some random guy. And I screamed and I tried to run away, but my fake uncle grabbed me by the arm and led me to his car. And on the way to his house, I said, where are you taking me? He said, well, I saw you on your webcam. It seems you have quite the body for me. I screamed and screamed. We went to his house, and he had me in chains. He unchained me after about 2 hours and fed me. When I got up, I kicked him in the leg and ran out of the house. Went all the way to my house and knocked the door. Called the police, and the police came and got him. I escaped, thank God for that. Number 11. This happened when I got my first iPhone. I started just to test it out and get some text my friends, tell me this is my new number. Anyways, after about a week, my friends started texting me back and forth. We were having a great conversation about what we were going to do tomorrow, since it was a weekend. And after we said goodnight, the next morning, someone random texted me. And I didn't know who it was. It was kind of like a love message or something. In fact, it was kind of creepy. When I read the message, I got freaked out. But the most eerie part of it was when it said, "Look in your closet." I started not to, and got my dad's only gun. An M16 with 600 rounds in it. Pretty good deal. So I said, "Come out of my closet or I will shoot you right now." It turns out there was someone in my closet. It was a mother, and he didn't look like much, but he packed quite a smell of cigars and tobacco. I said, "Get out of my house now, or I will shoot you right between the eyes." Right when he heard that, he ran straight in my house. From then on, I never read any text messages from an unknown number ever again. Number 10. Me and my cousin were walking home from school one day, and apparently this red Nissan kept driving past us about 15 times before I finally said, "Alright, we gotta take a different route." Being a attractive girl in high school, I didn't know what else to do. Plus, me and my cousin didn't really know what to think of it, so we just walked home and went about our business. As we were going inside our house, that red Nissan pulled up in the driveway. Well, our parents had the red Nissan, same color and everything, so we just figured it was them. They would usually come in the door about 20 seconds later, and in fact, that's the time they always did, and we knew it wouldn't take any longer than probably 5 more seconds for them to get in the door. We counted 20, and we were like, "Alright, 5 more seconds. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. They didn't come in the door. We knew something was wrong at this point, so we went out, and right when we opened the door, 2 large men stood in front of the doorway. We slammed the door shut. We locked it, and we locked all the windows. We ran up to my house. We ran through my house up to my room, and we were yelling at each other, telling how much that freaked us out. We had a neck at my window, and we looked through the blinds. The 2 large men were standing right below us. We threw a rock at it, but it didn't break anything. We were freaked out at this point, and plus, me being a high school girl and my cousin only being in 5th grade, we just had to call the cops. They just told us to stay on the line. I said, "There's 2 large men standing right below my window. I'm scared. I want you to calm down right now." They just told me to calm down and to stay on the line. They'll be in a few minutes. I was too scared to say anything else. When the two large men left, I told the police exactly what happened and where they went. I know this kind of sounds a little scary, but I told the police officer that they were going to kill us, and if they didn't leave us alone, we were going to shoot them. 2 hours after the police came back, they said we didn't find them, and we never saw them again. Number 9. So, when I got my first computer, or laptop, I didn't really have a firewall put up. So, the thing is, I didn't really want a firewall because, things happen when you put a firewall up. It's too bad. Well, being an 11-year-old guy, I figured I would have my friend come over and do this. Unfortunately, that wasn't the best choice. I don't know. Anyways, I had him hook it up, and after that, some weird stuff started happening. I was typing on my computer one day, I was typing a story that I needed for history class, and out of nowhere, my computer just told me I had been hacked. Well, I didn't know what else to do. I mean, it was freaky. So I called my friend over, and I said, I just been hacked. What's going on? He said, well, I hooked it up kind of the way where you have a firewall, but it's really weak. And I got really ticked off at this moment, and I told him to rewire it where it would be hard for anyone, well, actually anyone to get into my computer, even if it was a professional hacker. So he did that, and about 2 weeks later, my computer once again said, "You've been hacked," or it's a hack attack. It was weird, I know, but I was scared. I called my parents. I said, I got a firewall, but I've been hacked somehow. And they came over. And my dad, working for the police department, knowing everything about criminals, he was like, I'll take care of this. Well, my mom just tried to stay home and just fix me something to eat. I was starving at that moment. I didn't have any lunch at school. So, she just tried to calm me down, fix me something to eat. And my dad came back with a very sad face. I said, what is it, Dad? He said, well, there's a guy that hacked your computer, and turns out, I'm sorry, but it was your nephew. I was devastated to hear that, but I knew it had to be true because I knew he was a pro hacker, and even though no one could have got through my firewall, but somehow he did. My dad took my nephew to jail, and we visit him occasionally. We got out of jail that one time. My computer got hacked again, but it wasn't him this time. It was an unknown hacker from an unknown state. So I took down my firewall on top of my computer for good. From then on, I got a professional to do his job with a firewall. Number 8. I really wasn't that much of a person to actually check my home for any intruders or anything. But one day, I came home from school and I didn't know what happened. Apparently, there was furniture everywhere, and there were random pieces of office material everywhere. I picked it all up and thought nothing of it, thinking this was just a earthquake or something. Because there was a huge earthquake in my school recently this year, and there was a tornado drill, which there actually was a tornado at my school today. So I I expected the house to be trashed, but not from the inside, just from the outside. I thought I'd have it, like I said, and put everything back in its place. Soon later, I heard some shuffling downstairs. I went downstairs and I saw no one. So I went back into my room, thinking this is just paranoia or my mind playing tricks. I heard shuffling again. This time it was followed by a soft thud. Once again, I didn't think anything of it. I just laid my head down and went to sleep. When I woke up, I didn't open my eyes. I was just too tired at the time. But through a little slit through my eyes, I saw a man standing over me with a knife. I always had a knife under my pillow. Out of sight, my hand reached under my pillow and grabbed my big army knife. I pulled it out on him and said, "Get the heck out of my room and don't come back." He was creeped out when he heard this. He started to slash his knife at my neck, but I dodged it and stabbed him right in the heart. He fell to the ground with an "Oh!" I ran out of the house as fast as I could. I just bolted from the house. I ran to my friend's house and said, "You gotta help me, please. I want to buy your phone, please." I called 911, and the police told me that they would be there. I showed them right where the trio was, and it wasn't there. They believed me though, and they traced the fingerprints of the knife that he dropped, and also to this day, I haven't seen him since. Number 7. Being a mother of 2 kids is kinda hard. This was 2 years back, and I didn't want my little boys to get scared of anything. My little angels, I can't let them be all alone. Anyways, one day I came home through a dark woods because the main highway was cut off because of the new road construction. So I went through the woods, and it was a lonely drive home. So I decided to just turn the radio on. My car froze up, and I said, "Alright, I'm just gonna sit here and call my boys and make sure everything's okay at the house." I decided to let my car rest for a little bit. So I turned it off and just talked to it and listen to the radio. When I called the boys, no one answered. I tried a second, third, fourth, and finally the 5th time. Finally someone answered, but it wasn't one of the boys. But instead the voice said, "Hello, Carol." It sounded like nothing I ever heard before. "I see you've got 2 little beautiful boys here. It's nice to have them, but I'm afraid you won't have them for very much longer. I'm so sorry about this, but it's a pity to not have them anymore." I hung up as fast as I could. I turned my car on and bolted to the house. No one was there inside, but my little boys were just weeping. I was so relieved that the burglar didn't steal my little angels. From then on, I never left the boys home alone ever again. Number 6. This story is kind of unrealistic, but it was real. I can assure you of that. Anyways, one day I got kidnapped out of nowhere. Pretty sudden, I know, but that's how it went. I was walking home from church, and I knew my parents weren't gonna be home. And a van was speeding past me. The door was open. I wonder why. And a reached hand in and reached out and grabbed me. I tried to struggle to get loose, but they closed the door shut behind me. I tried to open it up, but it was locked. These guys took me to their house and took me to the basement, just locked me up there. I was scared. I couldn't do anything. I was just so scared. I don't know what to think. I was trying to get away, but I was too focused on anything else. And I was kidnapped, and I didn't know what else to think. I don't know if they were gonna kill me or what, but I was scared to the bone. So, myself, it's probably just best to do what they say. So, I did what they said. I didn't argue with anything or anyone. I just stood there. Of course, I don't think that would have been the best choice if I was anywhere else. In fact, it was a pretty big choice for me to make, even though I was only 15 or 16 at the time. Being an ignorant little girl, I thought it would be funny just to play little tricks on him and act kind of pretty. Anyways, I did some pretty cool dance moves. I thought it was pretty entertaining. After that, I bolted from the house. I ran home. Well, actually, I ran to a church and seek for cover. The men were after me. No one was at the church except for the custodian. He was a member of the CIA too, so he drew out his gun and started shooting. He shot two of the guys, and the other one fled the scene. I asked him to drive me home. He said, "Sure thing." So he drove me home. I locked the doors, and my family got home about 2 minutes after I got home. I told them everything that happened, and they never left me alone again. Number 5. I was staying in a hotel with my family, and I decided in the morning I was gonna go out and just enjoy the nice winter air. When I go outside the hotel room, I looked down the hall and there was this girl in a white gown. I said, "Can I help you?" She no response. She started moving closer. I started backing away as I thought it was really creepy. My mom and my dad were still asleep, so I didn't want to wake them. Being a 16 or 17-year-old boy, I thought I was big enough to handle it, but I'm 21 now. Anyways, I remember just like it was about a couple hours ago. I backed up, and this thing just kept on moving faster and faster towards me. I ran down the hall. I didn't know what to do. I got in the elevator and went to the office floor, and I looked down the window, and the figure was right behind me. I was so scared out of my mind. I started screaming. One of the people in the other rooms came out and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "There's something behind me. Just get it out of my sight, please." And he said, "No one's here. What are you talking about?" I turned around and nothing was there. Oh my god. Thank you. I was so scared. I knew the guy did not know what the heck I was talking about. But to this day, I never go up early ever again in the hotel room. Number 4. One night, me and my friend were walking through the woods. We didn't think anything of doing this. We were stupid. We were only 10. Anyways, our parents said we could just hang out for a little bit, and we lived in the woods area. So we just walked around the forest, telling each other how our day was, and we just didn't think of anything else. It became dark pretty fast. We tried to head home, but there was no path. We were scared. There was no path to follow, and we were lost. But there was 2 trails, and they lead in a ridiculous way, so we just went together. Figuring someone would kill us, or mistake us for a deer, we just stuck together so we wouldn't get shot or something like that. About 2 hours of just walking in complete darkness, we found out that we were doing the wrong trail. We might have took the fork in the path and just went the other way, but that wasn't the trail either. So finally we just went in the middle, and no trail was found. We were freaking out at this point, and it was freaking scary out there. I didn't want to spend one more crappy night out here. So I just decided to just try to brush off his paranoia and just lay down and just shuffle across the ground for any sight of anyone that could help. Me and my friend were still walking, and I couldn't believe what I heard. I heard my parents' voices. I was like, "Mom, Dad, over here!" They didn't hear me, and so I kept on walking towards the voices. I found them, and I never went out by myself or with my friend again, unless it was somewhere in town. Number 3. I was visiting with my cousins last week, and we were playing every video game together. Not so much as shooting games, it was more of a horror story, like Dead Space 2, and all that other stuff. We heard a loud crash downstairs. I decided to check it out, being the oldest, and seeing that I had to do something about my other friends, or my family members. I went downstairs to investigate what it was. I saw my whole kitchen trashed. We decided to call the police, and after they came in, they asked us the terrifying question: who's been living in your house for the last 10 years? We all shook our head, not knowing what the heck they were talking about. They said, we found some sleeping equipment and some drinking water and stuff like that from your home under your house. We were completely devastated, but I couldn't let it get to me. In fact, I didn't believe anything they were saying. But we eventually complied, and they took the criminal away, and we never saw him again. Number 2. This is a story me and my dad told a lot of people, including me. One day he came home from work, and he just eventually made his way to the front door, and he saw that the glass on it was broken. In fact, he didn't know what to do. His little daughter was inside. She was only about I'd say 13, 14, even 17 maybe. And even though she was home alone, she was pretty well protected. He had some security alarms and security beams, actually. And to be honest, this story goes on quite a while. Anyways, put all those cameras up in the house, and he had professional do it, so no intruder could ever get in, except for one person. This guy's name was Robert something. I can't pronounce his last name. Anyways, Robert was wanted for multiple cases of rape and a second-degree murder. In fact, he was quite a dangerous criminal. He also did something for looting. It was terrifying and much as it was painful for me to hear. Also, Robert really didn't like people that much. This was like, I swear, like 20 years ago maybe. And my dad told me this when I was just a little kid. So, he just wanted everyone to know that this actually happened to him. So anyways, he came home, his daughter was alone, all that stuff. Anyways, he found a criminal in the house. Of course, him working with the ISS or whatever they're called, he drew out his shotgun. I mean, not shotgun, but pistol. With his pistol, he shot the intruder in the head. In fact, I was pretty amazed when I heard the story. But after the police questioned him, he said he was an ISS something agent, and they said, okay, well, the officer said he was wanted for multiple cases of rape, murder, and burglary. And that's the end of the story. Number 1. I just want to start by saying this is the scariest moment of my entire life, and I just want you to say this because it's just so great to hear you talk, and it's just a great opportunity for me to actually send you an email that you can actually read it. So anyways, I was with my friend hunting out one night, and we saw this woman with a baby carriage come up. She was very little to the imagination, and it was actually kind of horrifying what she said. Even though there was nothing in the carriage, she said, "Can you help me?" And we both said no, knowing that if we said yes, she would probably like drag us into the woods or something and kill us. But we politely declined. We can't help you. We're trying to find our way home. We're lost too. And she said, "Well, follow me another way back." Knowing a person like this, she didn't really look all that nice. In fact, this picture, I just took a picture of it. It was weird. It was just bad. Anyways, she wanted to look with us, but we politely declined, and she said, "Okay." And plus, it's just so scary. But long story short, we called the police, and they didn't see anyone there.